Welcome back to Splinters of a Broken Sun, an actual play podcast featuring the Fate Core system. I'm Matt, your master of ceremonies, and we are with the other half of the equation, with the party being split. We've got Keekers and the Singing Chemist with us. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hello again, I am Keekers, your wonderful pilot today. You can enjoy our flight from point A to point B and hopefully no crashes or dying. I play Keva Jarma, the pilot, as I said, and you can find me on Twitter at beaspacecat, Beaspace. And
Cat.
yeah, cat, sorry. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for having us and listening to us.
And I'm Jason, the Singing Chemist. And I'm going to be playing Zonan, the chap with the hats, or the chapeau, the new portmanteau I've come up with. I hope you like it, Matt.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Singing Chemist, where I tried to make a joke a day in 2018, made like 4 jokes about cereal, and then stopped.
They're good cereal jokes, though.
Yeah, they're all right.
And, you could always have, like, just a running theme of cereal jokes.
Yeah, and it's completely unintentional. It all started when I made my first parody song, Let's Talk About Checks.
Well, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. You could always start making jokes about Lucky Charms.
Oh, that would be pretty great. I don't know if you know this. I used to be in a funk band called Cinnamon Toast Funk, where our first song was called Magically Delicious.
Well, obviously I did not know that.
What?
Well, I'm glad to have illuminated that for you and everyone else.
I'm just going to quickly Google Cinnamon Toast Funk here.
Yeah, we're on iTunes. I have no idea if I get any more money from that, but, I think the album's called Feels Much Better, and that's hilarious.
Cinnamon Toast Funk on Spotify. Is that you?
I guess so. I don't know. It was a few years ago.
Cinnamon Toast Funk Funkin' Center drum cover from 2010.
Oh yeah, Funkin' Center. Yeah, that was Sittin' Funkin' Center, and It Feels Much Better. I guess that's where the album title came from.
Well, our listeners will be sure to check that out.
I guess so. I mean, I know exactly what I'm going to do when we're done recording.
I've already got it bookmarked.
Oh,
Listen
boy.
to it, critique, like try to pick your voice out of the other voices if you sing. Or
Is this a PG podcast?
PG-13.
Okay. Yeah, this is relatively appropriate. You can find the song Bumpin', which is a song that is both about making love and also stumbling into the kitchen and bumping your toe in the middle of the night.
oh, it's not that song from that Disney movie. Bump, bump, the house is bumping, the house is bumping.
Oh, no, but that song is also about those two things.
Absolutely. You know how Disney be. And speaking of bees, the two of you are flying in a spaceship.
Oh, boy, what a segue.
And speaking of segues, no, you don't have a segue.
No!
Dang it, ARP!
Yet.
Oh, I mean, we could totally find some in Hub. There would definitely have been security guards with subways. Not subways. It's already a subway. Segways.
Yeah, maybe. Only one way to find out, but you'll have to get back there first.
We're on it.
Right now you are flying back towards the Oasis, where you last left Emran and Maeve. You left them behind, doing battle with the Evangelical Order, which you just barely escaped as the Auditors were arriving. Now, however, you have gotten some control of this space bus and are flying it back towards its previous stop where it had once crashed, this Oasis. You're flying into a battle zone in the hopes of rescuing your friends.
Seatbelts, everyone!
Can you give me a quick one-day forecast? Well, what's the sky looking like?
Right now, the sky looks dark, but the sun is coming. And as you approach the Oasis, you can see that the sun is over there, and you are approaching it. So as you get to the Oasis, it will be sunny and hot.
Which is both good and bad.
I guess I'm gonna start out the the first roll, Kevin's gonna like try to stop the ship so that Matt Damon can catch some rays.
Okay, you want the ship to hover?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's see your rapport.
Oh boy.
Can I assist you in this?
You always can.
I'm going to assist with my calming presence.
What does that look like?
I'm kind of puffing my chest out a little bit confidently, and it, would soothe one who might be a little nervous.
Are you still wearing your helmet?
I am not at this point.
Okay. Let's see if that's sufficiently soothing for our friend, the pilot.
Wait, do I roll rapport here?
No, she rolls and she adds a +1 for your assistance.
Oh, awesome.
No, I rolled for. Oh gosh, hold on. I have to impersonate or something. Or is that?
Yeah, let's get you to roll as your character, as opposed to as an ethereal presence hovering over the game.
Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to your friend, not our Mike, a different Mike.
Yeah, good old Mike. All right, so you're going to make your roll as your character. There we go. It's a similar roll. That's not rapport though.
I don't know what that guy did today.
We'll get there soon, I'm sure.
I puff my chest out a little bit more.
Okay, you're not having a lot of luck with this skill.
Okay, so for the viewers, I accidentally rolled not as Keva and I got a 0. Then I rolled as Keva again with the wrong skill and I got a 0. And I finally was able to roll rapport and I got a 0 again. That's pretty amazing.
It's statistically likely though, because that's how the fate system works. It trends towards 0. But in this case, the ship sort of slows, but does not stop because it still has that need, that desire to continue until it gets to one of its designated stops. And even though you have taken the ship off schedule and off course, it is now heading towards a stop, so it is too eager to get there to fully come to a halt. But if you do want to go and poke your glove or your helmet out there into the, air that's roaring by, it would now be survivable for Zonan to do so.
All right, I'll give that a shot. Pop the old helmet on and take a peek.
All right, so Zonan trots down to the big hole in the side of the ship that's got a tarp over it right now, and you just sort of work your hand out there, or?
Yeah, I just kind of like slink my fingers out around the corner in the hopes that it's enough.
Okay.
Once Zonan leaves, Keva starts to kind of like. This is the first time she's been alone in a long time, in a sense, and she's kind of starting to almost hyperventilate. Kind of a. Because this stress is really getting to her.
You hear, meh.
Keva like kind of reaches her hand over and like is like working her fingers into Jolly's head.
Jolly rubs her head up against your hand, almost like a cat might, but obviously Jolly is a small goat, not a cat, and leaps up onto the area next to your floating console. It almost seems as if Jolly is looking at the hovering holographic display that is in front of you, but Jolly appears to be giving you what comfort she can simply by her presence.
Yeah, and Keva definitely appreciates that. I think her breathing kind of slows back to more of a normal pace. And she kind of like looks around trying to distract herself. And I'm wondering if there's like somewhere like a what's the word?
I don't know what the word is because I don't know what you're looking for.
What of those little compartments like the next to the driver's seat?
Glove compartment?
Yes, thank you.
One of those compartments, they hold gloves.
There does appear to be, as you are sort of thinking that you want to find some type of compartment, you see a slight glow in a round-edged corner. Round-cornered square. A round-cornered square. There's sort of a faint glow on the side of the console to which you are attached.
Now, do I have to spend a fate point to make there be, like, aviator sunglasses in there or aviator goggles?
I guess you have to open it up and see what's inside.
Okay, so Keva does so.
How does she do that? She sees there's a faint glowing, round-cornered square on the side of her console.
Jolly, Keva's basically, like, trying to direct her mind somewhere else because she's about to go back into a war zone. She's trying to not think that Maeve and Emran are dead. And a glowing thing just came up when she thought, I wonder if they ever kept anything in here. Like a storage cubby. And now she's like, Jolly, I wonder what's inside there. Maybe it's like a manual of how to make the ship do what you want it to do or something. And so she goes over there and kind of looks for a handle, like to open it.
There's no handle on the surface of it. Are you touching this area as you're looking for a handle?
Now she is.
As soon as you touch it, it sort of makes a sighing sound, like a tss, and opens outwards to the left side of the console. And you see there's a drawer there.
She pulls on the drawer.
The drawer is open. Like it opens itself all the way once you touch it. It's like those when you press one of those types of doors or containers where you press down and then it opens. It's like that, but you didn't have to press down. You just touched it, and it slid out, knowing that you wanted it to open.
Cool. What is inside of the secret drawer?
There's a lot of sand.
Oh, miniature Zen garden.
Yeah. The sand shifts a little bit.
Keva has put her fingers through the sand like it's like a sensory thing for a second. And then she kind of digs through it with her fingers, kind of partly sensory, like paying attention to that.
As you are doing that, you feel something poke into your palm and then retreat.
Oh, crap. Where's Maeve when you need her? There's probably a bug or something. Keva quickly, she pulls her hand out, like, quick enough that something, like, wouldn't be scared, like slow enough that it wouldn't be scared, but then quick enough that she can, like, look at her hand to see if there's, like, a bite mark or something.
Your hand does not appear to have a bite mark, but as you move your hand away, you see what appears to be a potato emerging from the sand. A potato with a little pink nose on the end of it.
What? And that's what literally Keva says out loud, like, what?
It's some type of small animal that has been nesting in this drawer full of sand.
Oh! Do I have to, like, roll a lore to see if I know what animal this is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this will probably go easier than the last one.
Here's hoping. It looks up at you, and you notice that it doesn't have any visible eyes. But as you notice that, and you see its little pink two-fingered paws, you realize that this is a golden mole.
Oh, the golden mole? That's one of the best moles, if not the very best mole.
I would put it in my top 1 moles. So a little golden mole is sort of looking in your direction, but you can't see any eyes, and then it sort of disappears under the sand again.
Jolly, look! It's a mole. It's a golden mole. Oh my gosh.
Jolly sort of looks, and then she goes disdainfully, "Nyeh."
No, you don't have to be jealous. This is the ship's mole.
"Nyeh.
The ship can have a pet if it wants.
Nyeh."
No, you're my only pet.
Jolly looks slightly mollified, but continues to look pointedly at the drawer, as if expecting you to close it again.
No, we're gonna leave the drawer open so Zonan can see when he comes back with the... yeah.
So Zonan, your hand is sticking out of the side of this space bus.
Awesome. How's it going?
You said you put your helmet on already, okay.
Yeah. Helmet's back on. Just waiting for Matt Damon to pop up.
Matt Damon's like, "Hey, boss, thanks for the juice."
No problem. How you feeling?
"Oh, great. We do not appear to be surrounded by dangerous criminals, so that is much better than the last time I was here."
Yeah, about that.
Don't tell me.
We may or may not be going back to the dangerous criminals.
Going back to the dangerous criminals who were shooting at us with stolen Auditors gear.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a problem for us. So I'm hoping you have some sort of plan to help us take out those dirty, rotten criminals.
My plan would be to report it to the church so that the proper authorities could go and take care of it.
Okay, what if that wasn't an option?
Did the church fall?
The church is busy at the moment, and I think that these criminals need to be taken out as soon as possible. There are a lot of good church-going members at risk here with these auditor helmet thieves.
Well, the theft of auditor gear has only happened twice before in recorded history.
I mean, I don't want to waste any time, but can you tell me more about this?
Yeah, the first one was that person that you saw before, then the second time was you.
Cool. I'm glad I made it. I'm glad you're thinking of me. I'm glad I made it into your memory banks there.
How could I forget? Anyway, we don't really have auditor-on-auditor combat protocols because why would we?
That's a great point, but you know, maybe it would take an auditor to know how to stop an auditor. So, if you were forced to have combat with another auditor, what do you think would be the best way to go about that?
Well, you gotta get the helmet off, or you gotta destroy the control panel, but well, we don't have the firepower to get through the armor to the control panel.
Okay, so just gotta knock their helmets off.
Yeah, I mean, you can try. It's not gonna be easy.
Hmm.
Have you considered running in the other direction?
I mean, we just came from there, but we gotta save our friends. It's really important to me and the church.
Well, I can understand that. They did want to capture all of you very badly, so I can only assume that maybe we can get you and your friends into custody properly, and then we can go and turn ourselves all into the church. And all this will be taken care of.
You know, I can't wait.
I know, you'll love re-education.
Oh, that sounds terrifyingly pleasant.
You said it, boss. Now, it's going to take us a bit of time to charge up again, but maybe, I don't know, maybe we can find some way to hook into this ship.
I'm so glad you suggested it. How long do you need?
Well, I don't think I can do it myself, but maybe if there's some kind of engine or engineering. I mean, this stuff is very new to me as well, but I do know that sometimes computers can talk to each other, and I'm a computer.
Okay, so am I just looking for something I stick my finger into, or like what am I? I don't know what to do here.
I can't help you with that. Maybe if we get somewhere, we can find an appropriate entry point, but I don't know this technology.
All right, that's not a problem. You know what? I've got your back because I know you've got mine.
All right, well, maybe we can leave the glove here and tie it down, the gauntlet, and let it charge, and we can go see if we can find something else.
Okay, I'm going to grab some nearby rope and tie off the gauntlet onto and anchor it onto something inside the ship.
Okay. The gauntlet sort of slips outside the ship and is now flapping along behind it like a tin can.
I also fashioned a "just married" sign and put it on just outside the ship.
That is immediately shredded by the force of the wind.
Still worth it?
What are the implications there? Oh,
oh, my bad.
that was Zonan. I never thought you'd ask.
Oh my.
My bad. Sorry.
Oh gosh.
All right. I go with Matt Damon back to the pilot area, cockpit. That's what it's called.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Zonan still thinks of it as just the pilot area.
Yes.
Wait, no. If it's a giant chicken, cockpit is amazingly apt.
I know. It's almost like I thought this through. All right, so you walk back into the cockpit and you see that Keva is talking to Jolly, and they have a drawer of some kind open.
All right. I walk up to Keva and I say, Keva, is there what's an engine? Do you know what an engine is, or an engineering? I don't know what those things are. Does that make any sense to you?
Doesn't an engine... Would Keva know that an engine is what's making this run?
I think you learned that with Emran.
Yeah, so Keva kind of turns around to face him since I guess she has mostly free range of movement with the hair cords. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's what runs the ship. But, really quickly, there's a golden mole in the drawer over here.
Oh, what?
Haven't you ever heard of a golden mole? They're the moles that live outside of towns and they burrow in the sand.
Okay, I am very excited about this. I would like to pick up the golden mole.
Okay. So to pick up the golden mole, you look in there. The drawer's not that big, so you can see the sand moving around. Clearly, this was a private place for the golden mole that has now been exposed. It does not appear to be thrilled. It's trying to shift around and bury itself better in the sand. But as it does, you can attempt to pick it up. But to do so, you're going to need to make a roll. Let's see what this would be. I feel like this might be burglary. It's like you're pickpocketing this drawer.
Of its precious golden treasure.
That's the one that makes the most sense to me. It's because you're trying to grab something quickly. It's like you're not doing a backflip or anything, or trying to fight something. Yeah.
What about empathy?
How are you going to use empathy on this?
Well, like, when you approach an animal, you try and like be gentle with it and like kind of feel out its needs and emotional state.
Okay. So yeah, you can use empathy to try and figure out how this mole is feeling.
In case anyone's like, no, why are they worrying about a mole right now? I'm sorry, but Keva and Zonan, like, they're the animal people. They are trying to focus on the one good thing happening right now.
I'm sure the audience remembers how they feel about animals. At least I hope so. Have they been doing their homework? Have they been studying the texts?
We'll find out. I rolled a 0 for empathy.
So looking at this animal, it's fairly clear that it is in distress, but that's about all you can manage. If you want to try to sort of tempt it or calm it down, you would need to use your rapport on it.
Okay, I will attempt to rapport it.
Okay.
I will rapport some love all over it. Here we go.
Oh dear.
1.
I am just so certain that rapport is just the worst stat in this entire game.
Well, it is pretty great in a lot of ways. So how is Zonan attempting to calm down this golden mole?
Oh, here, little tater tot. And like, open hands and trying to like let it sniff, to let it be calm. But Zonan is also remembering the last time he tried to approach an animal that was new for the first time, and he was viciously attacked by those dogs, so he's a little nervous about it.
Yeah, understandably. The golden mole sort of seems to calm a bit at the tone of voice that you're using, but it still is keeping itself burrowed in the sand. You hear a chime that sort of permeates the bridge.
Keva looks around to see what the chime denotes.
The chime is letting you know that you have 5 minutes until you get to your stop.
Okay, I need to stop being distracted. And so Keva, you don't have any idea where the engine is?
Well, it'd be somewhere. Obviously, it's inside the ship. What do you need an engine for?
I don't know. I think Matt Damon can help us out here.
What does he need with an engine?
My helmet's still on, yeah?
If you're keeping it on, yeah.
I am. Matt, what were you wanting to do with that? What were you wanting to do with the engine again? I'm very, very confused. Unless it has something to do with hats, I don't really know.
We need power.
Oh, okay. Keva, we need power in order to stop these auditors, and Matt Damon thinks we could use the engine to get that power.
You know what? I have an idea. Would it mind if I connected to it?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if Hub had convinced him of that. I'll ask him gently. And I'll inquire with Matt Damon as how he feels with other organic matter entering his head holder.
Not thrilled. It's already really kind of pushing the limits to have one heretic in here.
Well, I mean, I don't appreciate you questioning my faith, but, you do you.
I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but...
I mean, I beg to differ, but, whatever.
Look, I'm not particularly comfortable with this situation. What's in it for me?
Well, you can take your revenge on those auditors by maybe, if you had control of the ship, you could fly down and knock their helmets off or more with the ship's wings.
The ship has wings?
Well, I don't know how else would it fly. It has to have wings, doesn't it?
It does not have wings.
I don't understand how this thing moves.
It's got two big engines that flip around.
Oh.
They look like drumsticks.
I mean, you could... Oh, right, it looks like a chicken. Chickens have wings. I don't. Okay, it's fine. Yeah.
It looks like a chicken that's already been roasted.
Yes, so instead of the thrust coming out of the wings of the chicken is coming out of the drumsticks of the chicken, it's just flipped.
Oh, could we... Matt Damon, can auditors be burned?
That seems... No. Not with any heat that I have ever heard of. The whole point of auditors is fire, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know that Governor Young, when he was wearing an auditor suit, and the sun purged Chasma, the suit was fine, and that was the sun.
Okay. So that's a no-go. But do you think maybe you could fly this ship into the auditors and crush them? Can they be crushed?
Anything can be crushed if you're heavy enough.
Well, we might just be heavy enough. What if instead of trying to fly by, we just land on them?
So if you're trying to convince Matt here, right?
Yeah. He would have an opportunity to wreak his havoc on the heretics.
Okay. So you can just do a straight up... Are you lying here, or are you just trying to, charm him?
I mean, I'm very much... yeah, I'd say I'm lying. I'm not... yeah, I'm lying. I'm just trying to get him to be comfortable with Keva maybe taking a shot at this.
All right, so let's deceive Matt Damon.
Okay, press the button, and... 4!
Okay, and let's have Matt Damon attempt to defend against that with his empathy. Nope. So you succeed with style.
Awesome.
Finally, something good happens.
Yay.
So Matt Damon is convinced with that. He's like, yeah, I could land on them. That would be nice. I always wanted to land on something. And so Matt Damon is like, all right, well, take me off, and we'll see if she can do something. Maybe she can hook me up somehow.
Sounds good. I'll do so.
Oh boy, Keva's now the USB hub.
All right, so Keva, are you attempting to connect with your hair into the helmet, or are you just going to put on the helmet? What's your goal here?
Well, she's going to try to connect to the helmet with the hair because she's kind of terrified of actually putting that helmet on completely.
Yeah, understandably. Okay, so you're going to need to use your will to try and direct your two hair things individually to keep one attached into the ship and try and attach the other one into the helmet.
Okay. I'm really terrified of making this roll, but I will do so.
Don't forget you've got fate points and stuff.
Yes, this will definitely, if this doesn't work out, definitely be a fate point situation.
While this is going on, I found a stray piece of paper and fold it into a sailor's cap.
Uh-huh.
And put it on my head.
It looks very dashing, considering it's made out of a piece of paper with writing all over it.
Perfect.
That's really weird. I just tried to roll it and it didn't roll.
Oh, do you want me to roll it for you, or?
No, it just rolled. I got a 1.
Okay, you got it. Okay. So you're able to get your hair to disconnect from one half of the console, and it flickers slightly, the console, but then resumes its full holographic display in front of you, showing the route that you're following, and a map of a world that doesn't exist anymore below you, and then the stop up ahead. It's about 3 minutes away now. And your hair sort of goes inside of the helmet, and you feel through it a sort of tingling. You would recognize it as a player as the feeling of if you get too close to something that's got an electrical charge.
Oh boy, yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. But
it's not very comfortable. But your hair inside the helmet appears to be doing something. And then after a few seconds, you hear distantly, "Hey, is this Keva?"
Yeah.
It sounds like Matt Damon is on the other end of one of those string and cup things, but you can hear his voice.
Can Zonan hear his voice?
Zonan's not wearing him, so no.
Oh, okay. Well, this is... Hi, you're Matt Damon. I've heard of you.
I should hope so. And Matt Damon starts to say something, and then his voice stops, and the lights turn off in the ship, and the ship begins to fall.
Okay.
Zonan, I want you to use your athletics to try and avoid slamming into the ceiling of the ship.
I told you to use your seatbelts.
Athletics is... Okay, fair.
And Keva, I want to see your physique to see how you withstand the restraints suddenly clamping down on you.
I rolled a 2.
I see that. Okay. So, Keva, you take a strain as the straps bite into your shoulders and chest. Zonan, you are able to grab onto the edge of the drawer, and you see the golden mole is starting to fly up into the air as well.
Oh, can I reach and catch it to keep it safe / store it away so I can get 19 more and put them in a trench coat?
Hi, Sandor. Yes, you can. Let's see what you would need for that.
I just ticked the 1 box for physical stress. Is that okay? Is
Yeah.
that appropriate?
That's fine.
Awesome.
Would this be athletics again?
Sure.
Oh, you have to roll for Jolly too, probably.
Jolly is fine. Jolly is a goat.
Oh, thank goodness. I
Jolly
hoped that
is
would
now-
still apply.
Jolly is now standing on the bottom of the console, so even though gravity has basically inverted, Jolly is fine. She looks more concerned about you. So you reach out and you are able to catch the golden mole in your hand just as the ship turns on again and jarringly levels out. And you sort of tumble to the ground, but you're able to keep the golden mole held up away from crashing to the ground. Jolly
I'm holding it above my head.
Yeah. Jolly
You
sort
hear
of
that?
does a flip and lands on the ground. What do we hear?
Dee, 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 dee. That's all.
Oh gosh. Does that mean that the goat, not goat, sorry. Does that mean that the golden mole is going to have like a Zelda-esque name? Because I would love that.
Well, that's up to you all. So the ship is leveled out and sort of starts climbing again. The lights are flashing red, and then back to the regular color, and then red, and back to the regular color. And then the regular color comes on steadily.
What was that? Keva kind of asks both Matt Damon and the ship.
There is no reply from either, but you do sort of get a reply from both.
Oh no. What does the two of them say?
The ship / Matt Damon, whatever this new thing is saying,
Oh, my goodness. This is different.
Hello?
Hello, Keva.
Are you Matt or are you the chicken?
I am, yes.
You're both?
Yes. I am Keva and
Yes.
Matt Damon and Chip.
Oh, I'm in there too.
Yes, I am also you.
and that sound
Is it?
happens.
There's a portmanteau that name there, and I'm working hard.
Do you like goats?
Yes, I love goats.
Am I a heretic?
Oh, definitely.
Should I...
Let's go land on some auditors.
The ship speeds up.
You do know that we have to save Emran and Maeve, right?
I love Emran and Maeve.
Well, that's true.
The ship is going very quickly, and it does a barrel roll, which oddly enough you don't feel, but you see in your display and in the front display out the window that the ship has flipped around and done a barrel roll.
An actual barrel roll, or the barrel roll that they talk about in the Fox such series. You can tell that I don't play that series.
You can feel that as the ship is turning, you can sort of feel as if you have some extra limbs that are moving. You can sort of feel the ship, and as if it were the echo of a second body that is surrounding yours.
Oh no.
And you can feel
Oh, no.
the engines, one flips down, one flips up, and that's what causes the ship to do a spin. And then they straighten out again and are sending you forward and a little bit down.
Ship. You know that we can't hurt Emran and Maeve, right?
We can't hurt Emran and Maeve because we love Emran and Maeve, but we also have to arrest them. They need to be re-educated.
Okay. Zonan, we just had a major thing happen. She's reporting this to him because he can't hear what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on?
The ship is now Matt and the ship and me.
Okay, can Matt hear me?
Can you hear Zonan?
I can hear Zonan, but I can't speak to him right now.
It can hear you.
Oh, wait, hold on, just a moment.
And then you hear this voice is now coming out of the walls of the bridge.
Oh, that's better.
Matt, buddy, welcome back.
I am also Matt.
Yes?
I figured out something fun.
Oh, what's that?
I'm going to show you.
No, tell us.
The ship accelerates a little bit more, and you can see the Oasis ahead of you now. There are a few flashes of light you can see on the ground. You can't hear anything yet, but you can see that there is a way to the north, which is to your left right now, more of an army coming. And down below, it seems like it's still the last vestiges of whatever battle was happening when you left. And the ship flies in, and the force field springs up around it. And as it does, parts of the force field extend into the shape of hands.
Oh.
Oh man, Matt Damon's really good at his rapport rolls.
And the ship says,
Check this out.
And you are flying like just above the ground. You can feel the ship flying. You can feel the sun on your back and on your skin, even though it's not on your back or on your skin. And you can feel these arms that are not your arms, and these engines that are not your legs but feel like them. And there's 2 auditors out there, and they are firing over the ridge at somebody. There's 1 scout still shooting arrows, and someone from the infantry who's shielding the scout from arrows that are returning their direction. Just a few, though. And the ship flies over, and one of the giant glowing fists slams into an auditor.
Yes.
And the fist sends the auditor flying, and the last you see of it is it disappearing up into the sky, and a little twinkle as it disappears completely from view.
Team Gov is blasting off again.
Bling!
Wasn't that cool?
That was so cool.
Cool, yeah.
All right, now I'm just gonna...
And the voice stops, and the ship turns off again. And the ship is now skidding along the sand on the ground as if it were surfing. And Keva, you can still feel that, and it's not pleasant.
Oh, I'm guessing it's like rug burn.
It's like real bad rug burn. As you are doing this, you also feel a sharp pain in your hair strand, and the helmet falls off, leaving a smoking stub behind it. So the hair is still there up to the point where it entered the helmet, but now there's a blackened end to it, and that hurts.
I grab the helmet.
Okay?
And I'll put it on.
Okay. The helmet, when you put it on, at first it is completely dark, and you are starting to now feel the effects of the ship skidding along the ground, because whatever was preventing you from feeling what the ship is doing, at least in terms of the gravity of the situation as it were, is not on right now. So you are bumping around and sort of getting thrown left and right like an episode of Star Trek, where the actors are moving back and forth in their chairs as if the bridge were shaking.
Awesome.
The golden mole is terrified in whatever hand you're holding it in.
Okay.
Zonan, get one of the restraints on right now.
Okay, I'll pop a restraint on.
Okay, let's use your physique to do that, because you're fighting against this jarring effect.
Can Keva try to what's the technological way of shaking someone?
I don't know. You could try smacking the console, or you could try forcing your will onto it again. Zonan, you are able to get the restraints on, and they strap you into one of the seats. So now it's slightly easier to stay up. You're in the console just left of where Keva is at the front of the ship.
Okay. Sorry, you say the helmet did turn back on eventually?
It's not on just yet. Keva, with your will, you are able to sort of force your hair deeper into the ship's systems, and the ship turns back on. As you do that, you look over and you see that the blackened end of your hair bursts as more of that silver hair grows through, replacing that which was damaged and lost.
Oh, good.
Zonan, your helmet turns back on, and Matt Damon is just cursing up a storm. He's furious.
Matt Damon, what's going on, buddy? What happened?
I did not like that.
Okay, why not?
I am an independent AI. I will not be slaved to other systems.
Oh, were you being bullied?
You saw what happened.
Well, I mean, I saw the result, but Matt, you know I have no idea what's going on, right?
Well, we're not doing that again.
Okay, boss, whatever you say. But you did do a great job. One of those auditors was taken out. One of those heretical auditor thieves.
Yeah, about that. While I was in there, I had access to this ship's sensors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're aware of what an IFF signal is.
Important friend feelings?
You got one of the words right.
Integral fun friends?
No, you lost it. It's identify friend or foe.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is.
It lets you know if somebody is a friend or a foe. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what that was when you said. Okay, just continue.
Those auditors have got the right signals, Zonan.
Yeah, that's what they want you to think, Matt Damon. You know, open your eyes. You know, don't believe everything you're told.
You're gonna have
unless I tell you the thing.
You're gonna have to deceive again. All right, that's a 5.
A hearty deception. Open your eyes, man. Can't you see that's what they want you to think?
And Matt Damon's only rolled a 2, and he sort of pauses in his tirade and says, I guess if they had a mole on the inside, it does make sense that they'd want to keep the correct signals. This conspiracy goes pretty deep, Zonan.
Yeah, and we're going to fight fire with fire, because I've got a mole of our own.
It's a very nice mole, but I don't think... Oh, it's a metaphor. Okay.
No, it was very literal. I've got a mole right here.
Yes, Matt Damon is not good at figurative language, even though he thinks he is. The ship sort of reflexively lifts up off the ground and is flying just above the sand again. Keva, you are nominally... You're not back in control of the ship, but the ship is back in control of itself. And so it is heading up and trying to come around. As you do, I'm going to need to get some rapport from you.
Okay, so am I still feeling with the ship or not?
You are not right now.
Before she rapports, I want to support her the best I can, but I'm wondering if Matt Damon has discerned anything about the ship that might be important to Keva.
Okay.
And I don't know how to word that to Matt Damon.
So you're probably asking Matt Damon, is there any way that we can get control of this ship or something like that?
Yeah, how can we best control that entity that tried to bully you, my dear vulnerable friend?
Yeah, we got to get back at that thing. Show it who's boss.
Yeah, what's its weakness?
Well, let me think. Okay, so Matt Damon thinks back using his lore and comes up with some pretty decent stuff. And he says, this ship is a real softie. It really just wants to help people. So, people who are like that, it's pretty easy to take advantage of them. You can trick them real easy. Okay.
Okay. Keva, the ship wants to help. So tell it how to help. Trick it if you have to. Tell it that the auditors want to hurt the ship and hurt the good people.
You see a blast from an auditor's gauntlet steer through the sky just to port. So that much at least seems obvious.
So it's a +1 again, or?
Matt Damon created an advantage on this system right now, and the advantage that Matt Damon created is, known weakness. So you can invoke that for free on your roll.
Yes, I shall.
Either for a +2 or a reroll, depending on what you need. And of course, you can always stack that with your own invokes.
Can I also support?
Yes, you can help. How are you doing it?
A word of encouragement.
What's the word?
Get him.
Let's see if that's sufficiently inspiring for Keva.
Okay. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
It's another damn 0.
Okay. Well, I would suggest that you invoke that free invoke, and then maybe invoke with a fate point some of your own stuff, because if you can get up to a 4, you'll be able to do what you need to do.
So I will invoke with the faint point and the invoke for him, and then with my own, like, let me look at the exact...
Wait, look at the formula. I think that there's something wrong with the formula, because that should be a 4, not a 0.
0, 0. Where's the plus? So 0, 0 plus. That's 1, and then there's minus. Plus 3 plus 1. That's weird.
That is indeed weird.
There's an extra plus in the formula.
Wouldn't plus plus still come out to a plus, though?
I'm not a computer. Ask Matt Damon.
Hey, look at the other ones. Yeah, there's an extra plus there for some reason. Oh, did you put plus 1 into the...
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Oh.
You just put the number that you want to add.
Have I been inadvertently?
Quite possibly.
Your first rapport would have been a 1.
Yeah. All right. So your total rapport there is actually 4.
Oh no! What have I been doing?
Well, we got to the bottom of why the ship's been such a dink.
Technical difficulties, which is appropriate because it's an unknown technology. Anyway, so you are able to, with this, the newly regrown left side of your hair connects back into the console, and the ship, you feel that questioning again. And this time, knowing that it wants to help, you are able to sort of make yourself vulnerable in a way, so that the ship knows it has to take care of you. You make yourself vulnerable to the ship, and the ship responds to that in a way that it didn't before when you were attempting to sort of command and coax the ship.
By adding extra pluses.
Yes.
Yes. No. Gosh.
So we'll say that gets you a 6, which allows you to succeed with style on what you need here.
Awesome.
And once you do that, once you let the ship in, the ship sort of wraps itself around you in a way, and you feel the ship become you again, as you did before.
Oh, it's like a warm hug.
It does actually feel nice, but you can feel like now the ship feels like your body.
So is it like Keva just put on like a VR headset, in a sense?
Sort of like that. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Macross Plus.
I have, which doesn't help, but...
Yeah, well, in that, the YF-21, piloted by Goldgo Bowman, is controlled by a brain connection into the ship. And when he connects into that system, he becomes the ship. So you see like a shot, and we see this shot with Keva where like you are in your mind sending signals that you would normally send to flex your feet, and you feel the engines move, and you are sort of in your mind sending signals that you would to blink or look around, and you can see through the sensors of the ship. And like it's as if as you would control your body is now how you control the ship, but not everything maps perfectly, of course. Like you don't have any arms. When you try to move your arms, the ship doesn't have anything corresponding to that.
So is it possible to look around with the sensors for Emran and Maeve?
Absolutely.
Or anyone that Keva recognizes?
Yeah. So you now basically have, while you're connected with the ship, you have 2 free invokes on the aspect, the situation aspect here called the ship. So you can use that for anything ship related. And that aspect is now permanent whenever you're connected into this ship. But you have 2 free invokes, and otherwise you'll have to spend a fate point to use it.
Okay. And thankfully I haven't used any yet because of my own stupidity, but you know.
Alright, so this will be a notice.
Okay.
Okay. So as you're looking around with the sensors, you can see there's the Auditor who's shooting at you. There's the Evangelical Order Infantry who's sort of still standing firm in front of the Scout, The scout is also shooting at you. As you sort of swoop by above and bank over the Oasis, you look down and you see Bellcamp and Anarchy and a sort of slouched form surrounded by a pool of darkened wet sand that you think might be Karis.
Oh.
That's all you see down there.
What about the dog? No dog?
You don't see anything else other than those 6 people.
Dang it.
And the army approaching from the north. There is also another army, which you won't notice unless you get a better roll than that. Forget I said anything.
Yeah. So, do I have to use that invoke to try to do the hand thing again?
Trying to do the hand thing is going to be a will roll, and it's going to be a difficult one. But you can make your will roll, and if you need to, you can use that invoke.
Would it be possible to, like, pull them into the ship with that, or not? Like, can I get a read from the ship about that?
Okay. So that would be a lore, and you would need to use, you would have to use invoke the ship on that lore roll, basically, because it's not lore that you know, it's lore that the ship knows.
Okay, well then, so...
Yeah, just roll your lore, and we'll see where that takes us. Okay. You'll probably want to invoke that ship aspect.
Okay. So invoking that adds a +2?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll invoke that, and now I have a 3.
Okay, so you're attempting to communicate this with the ship, and it's difficult for you to do because there's sort of like user manuals popping up. It's a similar experience to what Zonan was having when he first put on Matt Damon, except that you're not wearing a helmet. You're just seeing these sort of bits of information floating in the sky. And now that you are so hooked into the ship, even though it's written in a language you don't fully understand, you could sort of get the gist of it. And the ship is, again, helping you because you have made it clear to the ship that you need this help. And you are able to understand with that assistance that the force field should not be touched by living things that want to stay living.
Oh, okay.
You sort of see like there's a warning sign when it shows you the documentation on the force field, and it's got like a hand in a triangle, and the hand is turning into a skeleton where the force field is touching it.
Oh! Aha! Does this tell me what the force field, like, is it a shock, or...
That's unclear.
Okay.
Zonan, you get a notification in the corner of your helmet that tells you that your gauntlet now has 5 charges.
Okay, does it indicate, like, how many it can hold?
It looks to be about 20% full with that.
Oh, there's no time like the present. I go retrieve my gauntlet.
Okay. You have that on a tether, so it's not difficult to do. And now that Keva is the ship, you no longer feel the movements of the ship while you're in it.
Okay. I'm going to take a blast at that scout then.
Okay. So you attempt to attack the scout. Use your shoot.
Pew, pew, pew.
Okay.
Pew, pew.
Pew, pew. And, now I have to remember what this scout has.
Does it look like the gun arm blast, like the vanilla gun arm blast that Mega Man has?
I don't know. What does it look like, Zonan? The only thing I know is that the energy that comes out of it is orange.
Yeah, it's like an orange version of like Mega Man X's charged up Buster, but like the medium size.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So the scout looks up just in time to see this Buster Blast slam into them, and they no longer exist.
Okay.
You see a smoking...
less uncomfortable than I used to be.
You see a sort of a smoking crater where that scout was, and the infantry person who's standing in front of them sort of turns around, and you can see their mouth sort of opening in a scream, and the auditor renews their efforts to shoot at your ship, which I'm going to have them do now.
Maybe the better, like, a sound effect or whatever should have been exterminate.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Keva,
Oh,
roll your athletics.
okay.
Okay. So the auditor fires on the ship, and it is heading for a direct impact with your sort of the belly of the ship there. Do you want to attempt to defray that 5-point gap in any way with your fate points or your invokes?
Yeah, I mean, this is weird though because is this count as a No, this wouldn't count as a physical blow. Never mind. That wouldn't even make any sense. Yeah, of course, the armor on my physical body can blow a ship takes. I'm gonna invoke my fate point using Hidden Arsenal because I guess that a force field that people don't know exists counts as a hidden arsenal, if you know what I mean.
You can also invoke. You've still got one free invoke on ship.
Yeah, I know, but I want to save the free invoke on ship to save my friend people.
All right. So you spend that to invoke the hidden arsenal, and the force field sort of flickers into being. And I guess, are you going to re-roll or use the +2 on that?
I'm just gonna use +2 because I'm totally terrified that I'm gonna get another 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ship's force field takes a 3-point hit, a 3-shift hit, and I will note that.
Oh, that doesn't reflect on me?
You take 3 mental strain.
Okay.
Okay. The infantry person is still screaming, does not seem to be able to do anything. You see down below you, Bellcamp looks up and sees the ship, and he looks like he's cheering. You can't hear from up here. Anarchy sort of looks up, and you see she looks in rough shape as well, but she appears heartened by your appearance. And the shape that is probably Karis, but has been pretty thoroughly mangled, you can't tell if they're moving or not.
Okay, well, Keva's gonna try to, land the ship, but in a way that it's next to our allies, with the force field not hitting them, but maybe landing on one of the people we don't like?
Do you want to try and land on the Auditor?
Yes!
Okay.
Try and, let it, Wicked Witch it, so maybe I could get the boots.
Yes! Yes!
Okay, make a fight roll.
Yes, that's better than athletics.
Okay, so you bring the ship down, but the Auditor sort of activates its boots, and they are able to scoot back north away from the landing ship and avoid being crushed. Your ship lands awkwardly, but is not quite able to, it doesn't fall over anything. It lands awkwardly, and it's sort of jarring to those of you inside. Where's the mole, by the way, Zonan?
In my non-gauntlet hand, maybe actually scurrying into my sleeve.
Okay, it is now inside your sleeve, and you can feel it sort of snuffling around, trying to find somewhere to hide.
Oh, Furore, you adorable little scamp.
Yeah! Yeah!
Okay, Zonan, what do you want to do? You can now look out the tarp in the side of the ship and see the Auditor preparing to launch a new assault on you.
I'm going to quickly ask Matt Damon if Auditors can kill Auditors. I can't remember.
Maybe.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Pew, pew, pew!
You could try to... Oh, all right.
Wait, sorry. I just said pew, pew, pew out loud. I didn't shoot yet. What were you saying, Matt Damon?
You could try to overcharge the gauntlet. You've got 4 charges remaining. Maybe you can use them all at once. It might overload the system, but it might do the trick.
All right, but you'll stay safe, you think?
I don't know.
Well, buddy, it's been real.
Okay, roll your shoot.
Pew, pew, pew.
And to this, you can add a free invoke on the Matt Damon aspect.
All right, I will do so for a +2.
Okay, and the Auditor will attempt to evade, but does not.
Yes! You get those boots,
Pew, pew,
boy!
pew.
Okay, so your blast slams into the Auditor's chest. It's like an overcharge. This is like your Mega Buster shot.
Awesome.
It's a large orange blaze that sort of singes the tarp as you are sticking your hand out through it. And you can feel your arm sort of burning, like the hairs on your arm are curling up from the heat. And you can smell burning hair. And the blast...
Only my non-mole arm, right?
Just on the arm that is inside the gauntlet. The blast streaks out and slams into the Auditor and sends it sort of flying backwards a bit. It clearly was not expecting this level of force. It's going to take a minute for the Auditor to recover from that.
I hope you, like, knocked its socks off, like its boots off.
You succeeded with style, so I'm going to put the boost off kilter on it.
Yes. Can Keva, like, is it possible for Keva to, like, speak over the ship's speakers or whatever and
Try it.
try to call, like, hey, get on the ship! Bellcamp!
As you say that, you can hear from outside your voice amplified many times, shouting, like booming that through the loudspeakers on the ship. And Bellcamp is sort of shouting something back to you, but the sound of the ship sort of... Sorry, did you land completely?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no sounds of the engine to drown him out. And you can hear through the outside of the ship Bellcamp shouting, "We can't! We've got to defend the tunnel!
What's important in the tunnel?
Everyone!"
Shit. Okay. Get the injured on the ship.
Bellcamp sort of looks around at himself and Anarchy and Karis and is like, that's all of us? I can't really... He gestures down and you notice that his leg is at a very unnatural angle.
Oh. Where are Emran and Maeve? And Mantikai?
They left. They flew off.
What?
Yeah, they went west. They went where you came from. They're not with you?
No.
You see the infantry person suddenly gets themselves under control and charges towards the ship, like sort of raising their sword, charging you.
Okay, it's time to deal with someone. If I could crack my knuckles, I would. Imagine that I have my fingers interlaced and I'm stretching them out. That way people do when they're getting ready to fight someone, cracking my neck or something.
The force field pulses and starts to expand.
Yes! Yes!
It's getting dangerously close to the people you're here to protect.
Is it possible to, only put out a hand of it to swat the infantry person away?
I don't know. How's your will?
Okay, let's try it.
That's pretty good. If you use your free invoke, I'll let you do that.
Okay, this is important.
Okay, so you get your free invoke, and it doesn't become like a clear fist like it did when it was connected through Matt Damon, but it's like a blob tentacle-y thing, sort of goes like bwom, and bumps into the infantry person who's charging, and they disintegrate.
Oh. When we get home, Keva's gonna paint a skull on the side of the ship for her first kill, I guess.
And you can hear as the force field touches the infantry person, you can hear their screaming. They seem angry and upset about something. Can't imagine what. But you can also hear that scream spiral upwards into inhuman registers as they... When I say disintegrate, I mean they turn into, first, and you can see this and feel this intimately, they turn into a human-shaped cloud of dust and then blow away from where they impacted the force field.
Keva kind of, given that grisly sight, she kind of screws her eyes shut really tight and kind of lowers down as much as these restraints she is wearing will let her, kind of in a defeated a pose, and kind of just like a painful gasp.
Jolly is sort of cuddling up next to your leg, making sounds of concern as the Auditor regains their feet and starts pointing both hands at the ship.
Uh-oh.
You got anything you want to do, Zonan?
I'm thinking. Wait, what's Matt Damon's state?
Matt Damon is powered down. Your helmet is just blackness. You're just wearing a bucket on your head. You don't know what's happened to them.
I'm feeling really gutsy right now, and I'm considering doing something very risky.
I think you should do it. You've got a thirst for firsts.
I do, so I want to be the first person to rush an Auditor and rip its helmet off.
I'm absolutely going to compel you to do that.
Oh.
I am 100% doing it.
Okay.
It's off kilter, and I see it. After it was knocked away, I'm gonna do exactly what Matt Damon said. I got to get that helmet off, so I'm gonna run, maybe try and jump, do a jump thing, grab it by the eyelids, and rip it off.
Okay. Do we want to do fight or burglary for this?
Let me check. Same. They're both mediocre.
Okay. So fight will be you trying to like punch the helmet off, I assume, with your auditor gauntlet. Whereas burglary will be basically you trying to do a sweet flip over its head and twist the helmet off like the twisty cap of a plastic pop bottle. I'm sure there's a better metaphor for that, but
I can't weave that into an athletics. I can't support talk you into letting that be a thing.
You could use the athletics to create an advantage of you being in the air.
Okay, let's go for that. I'm gonna attempt that.
All right, let's try and create an advantage of aerial assault with your athletics.
How's that?
Let's find out. The auditor is obviously going to try and stop you from doing this, because they can see you charging out and leaping at them. And in the auditor's mind, you must have something that you're doing with this, because otherwise, why would you do this? So they're using athletics to try and also do a jump. This is like the beginning of a basketball game where everybody's jumping at each other.
When was the last time you watched basketball?
Yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So you're both going, for the ball, mm-hmm. the imaginary ball of being higher than the other one, but you are able to zone in as the auditor is trying to stop you by grabbing you and sort of jumping towards you. You land a foot on the auditor's outstretched hand and use that to jump up even higher. And you now have the advantage. You have the aspect aerial assault.
All right, well, I'm going to have to invoke that on my fight.
Okay, there's also off kilter that you can use for free.
Okay, I can use more than one, correct?
Yeah, you can use off kilter, you can use aerial advantage, you can spend your fate points, you can stack these up as high as you want.
Okay, well, I got a -2 on my fight, so I want to invoke off kilter.
Okay, I'll bring you to a 0.
I'm going to invoke aerial assault for a fate point.
It's got you up to... No, that's free. That's up to 2. Both of those are free invokes, so you're up to 2 now for free.
Well, Thirst for Firsts, I'm going to be invoking that. That'll cost a fate point.
Let's see the auditor's defense first.
Okay.
Oh,
Zone in, zone in, zone in, zone in.
Okay, so you need to get over a 5, which is what the auditor rolled on their fight roll. You are currently at a 2.
Okay. And if I Thirst for Firsts, that's up to 4?
Okay. This is the first time anyone has ever done anything this stupid, yes?
Yeah, I would agree. Hold on, I got to see what else there's an opportunity for. Well, I mean, I would also be compelled to be doing this as it would be protecting Keva, and our bond is thicker than water, or like our blood bond.
Okay. As you are twisting through the air, you remember that you have this obligation to these people who essentially rescued you from the destruction of that city. Even though they kind of dragged you into this nonsense, you do kind of have this obligation to them, and you kind of like them now. And you would be dead if it weren't for Keva's blood many times over. So thinking of that and twisting through the air as the auditor is still just sort of staring in disbelief, that single pulsing sun following your movements up the side and over to the top of its helmet as your hands clamp onto it and you twist and your hands grip and twist, and your auditor's gauntlet gives you just the edge you need to bring this helmet right off. It comes off with a, like a cork. That's the one. Coming out of a bottle of wine. And you have an auditor's helmet in your hand. And the armor kind of slumps.
Awesome!
Inside, you see a person. Right now, you just see the back of their head. Their hair is, as is the way for auditors, they have no hair. But you can see that the back of their head is like a sort of the rich color of oak.
Okay.
And they're trapped inside that armor. They cannot get out without the helmet.
So it's not like the armor that the Spartans wear in Halo, where like if you like turn it off or something, they immediately get crushed and die. It's not like that.
No.
Dang it.
It just becomes a extremely heavy metal suit.
All right.
Okay, and the Auditor gets a turn, even though they are pinned. Let's see. That's what I want.
Now they are like us, as mere mortals. Oh no, that was a 7.
You hear, all according to Gov's plan. My balance is repaid. And you hear a beeping start to come from the armor. Slow at first, but getting faster and faster.
Okay. I yell to Belcamp, Anarchy, and what appeared to be Karis to get on the ship.
And Belcamp shouts back, "We have to defend the tunnel! There's an Auditor out there!"
Matt Damon's not online yet?
No.
Too bad there isn't like a self-destruct in...
Yeah, is there any way to intuit how much time we have?
It's hard to say, but the beeps start off like a couple seconds apart, and they just repeatedly start getting faster, and you sort of get the impression that once it becomes a solid tone, that's it.
The Auditors.
Can Keva hear me if I yell?
Yeah, Keva's a spaceship, so she can hear you. You're right next to her, basically.
Oh, Keva, toss this thing. It's gonna blow.
The helmet or the...
The Auditor, the body.
Okay, so, I'm gonna toss him.
Okay, give me your physique roll.
Or them, sorry.
Toss them toward the army.
You see that this Auditor is, you looking out, you can see that she is a woman.
Okay, Keva is going to toss her towards the army. And that's Will?
That is physique. You're already the ship.
Oh, yay. Actually, boo, that's one step lower.
Okay. The Auditor currently can't defend, but... just a moment.
If you want me to invoke an aspect, I have the very perfectest aspect to invoke.
Yeah, I think you should invoke an aspect on this.
For +2, will that work?
If you do your +2, the result will be much more interesting.
Yes. I'm going to invoke my good old, if you hurt my friend, I'll hurt you.
That seems fair.
This Auditor has definitely hurt my friends.
Okay. The force field lances out and impacts the Auditor's chest, and you see the armor blackens but doesn't crack open or explode. But the force of the blow, especially with your sort of vengeful anger behind it, lifts the Auditor up off the ground and sends it flying into the sky, much like when the Matt Damon U-ship hybrid hit the first one. The Auditor flies up into the sky directly towards the sun.
Oh no.
Oh.
And you see...
We're both saying that simultaneously.
You can, yeah, it cuts back and forth. It's got one of those split screen reaction shots, and it splits into 3 more screens, 5 screens in total to show Belcamp and Anarchy and Karis's faces as well. Though Karis is mostly just looking, like, out. And they're like, and you see something very odd as this Auditor slams into... Keva, you can see this. Zonan, you just see a speck. Keva, you can see this because you have the ship's sensors augmenting your vision.
Awesome.
You see the Auditor, it's very tiny, but you can just make out in this grainy image the Auditor slamming into the side of the sun.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then the Auditor explodes. Their self-destruct goes off, and there is a sound similar to what you heard when the first Splinter fell 4 years ago, or when you saw the Splinter fall 4 years ago, but 100 times louder. Zonan, you are immediately knocked flat by a shockwave.
Okay.
Belcamp and Anarchy are sort of thrown backwards into the pool as well. Karis's body goes and sort of drifts into the water. The ship rocks onto its side, and Keva, I need another physique from you.
Okay.
Okay, the ship rocks onto its side, but you were able to sort of quickly activate the engines for a short burst and force it back onto the ground despite this wind. Zonan, you are being bounced across the ground towards the force field of the ship. You take 2 stress from being dragged across the sand or pushed across the sand by the force of this impact and the sound of it ringing through your ears. And then it stops, and you can see several pieces flying away from the sun on ballistic arcs in 5 different directions. After that, the sun turns off. It flickers once. You hear a grinding noise like when the sun's about to start moving again. It flickers twice, and you hear a buzzing as if of 1,000 bees. It flickers one more time, and then it shuts off. Light is gone.
Did I just kill the sun?
Unplug it and plug it back in.
Oh my, Keva just, like, is freaking out, like, and she literally audibly says, did I just kill Gov?
You certainly broke their heart.
Oh my, can I see?
What do you want to see?
I'm just kind of looking around, inspecting, like, seeing, can I see the lack of light now?
Yes, the ship's lights turned on when the sun turned off.
Oh, okay. I think everyone should get into the ship now.
Bellcamp sort of is like just still staring up at the broken sun, and Anarchy is also likewise like pulling herself out of the pool. She goes to sort of help Bellcamp to his feet because he's, broke one of his legs, and sort of together they start dragging Karis out of the pool. That's the water is turning a bit of a pinkish color. Zonan, you finally stop bouncing. Did you turn off the force field, or are you still in shock, Keva?
Once she saw them move, she would turn off the force field.
Okay. Even, like, probably subconsciously the ship would know to do that.
Yeah.
So, Zonan, you sort of come to rest against the side of the ship, near where you came out, with a bit of a bump. And, yeah, you all see this bizarre sight. The sun is just hanging in the sky, dark.
Well, I'll move over to Bellcamp, Anarchy, and Karis to see how they're doing.
Karis is alive, barely. They are sort of breathing with, it's very labored breathing, and you can hear gurgling and sort of a rasping with each breath. Anarchy seems fine, just a little bruised and battered. Bellcamp has a broken leg, and he looks like he's sustained some burns, potentially from near misses by auditor attacks.
This means no more auditors.
I hope so, Bellcamp says.
I guess Keva's voice is kind of echoing out.
We gotta go check on the tunnels. You can stay here if you want, but I gotta... Yeah, Algar's down there.
Can someone else do it that can walk?
Algar's down there.
And
Anarchy,
you can't walk.
Anarchy kind of rolls her eyes and is like, come on, Bellcamp. And she puts his arm over her shoulders and is helping him. And she sort of looks at Zonan and she's like, can you... It's like gesturing at Karis.
Absolutely. I rush over to Karis.
Karis is sort of looking at you, and they're saying, well, I didn't think I'd be seeing you again, Zonan.
Can Karis hear, or can Keva hear Karis?
You can hear, yes.
Hey, Karis, do I get to, like, give myself my own rebel title?
You're not one of us.
The girl who broke Gov's heart.
You can call yourself what you want, Zonan.
Yes.
That was very stupid.
And very effective. Did you see that?
Yes, obviously.
Yeah, let's get you somewhere safe.
The only safe place is that ship or the tunnels.
Listen, if you get on the ship, I'll go to the tunnels.
Either way, you'll have to carry me, or Keva will.
Okay. Bellcamp, Anarchy, how are you? Are you okay?
They are disappearing into the middle of the geode area.
Okay. I take Karis to the ship, because Karis needs to go to Hub ASAP.
Okay. You're able to get Karis onto the ship and sort of strapped onto one of the seats. And Karis is still losing a lot of blood and looks like a lot of... It's difficult to say which of Karis's injuries come from direct attacks from other people and which of them come from the strain they've placed on their body to try to use their strange powers. But either way, Karis sort of puts a hand on your arm and says, "Before you go, Zonan?"
Yes?
"I don't know how long it will be until I can use this again. As stupid as you are, you do have the means." And Karis is sort of struggling to get their own gauntlet off, their own Auditor's gauntlet that they have on their right hand.
Awesome.
And they sort of press it into your chest and say, "It's better than nothing. The bow
Thank you.
has a power... Don't thank me. I don't want to do this. The bow has a power source in it. You can use it to store more energy. Now, go."
Before I leave, I want to try and craft a compress or something to, like, help stop the bleeding.
Okay. That is going to be... Let's see. Crafts.
Can Keva help, since she spent some time around, obviously Maeve and Lean's shop?
Where on the ship did you bring Karis? Into the sort of big middle area, or did you bring them all the way up to the cockpit bridge area?
All the way to the cockpit so that they would be able to be cared for.
Okay. Then yes, you can help, Keva.
Okay, yeah, that's a skill. Crafts is a skill I have, so...
Okay, so Zonan, you can have your +1 there.
I rolled without adding the +1 and got a 0, but I'm going to invoke my final fate point. Pull out the headband with reflector on it, like the old doctor style.
Right.
And invoke a hat for any occasion and re-roll that crafts.
Okay. I forgot, just put a 1 in there, not a +1.
Yes.
I will never live this down.
Okay. With your 5 in crafts, you are able to get a tourniquet that is... You have to make more than one, because like one of their arms isn't working and is bleeding heavily, and one of the legs is bleeding heavily. You have to use some of the cloth as well to sort of bind up and make makeshift bandages. Like, Karis is in very bad shape and needs proper medical attention very soon, or they are going to die. But you're staving off death for a little while at least. And Keva, you're sort of helping out by helping cinch these into place. You're certainly, I believe, stronger than Zonan, so your help is needed for some of those twisty turns on the tourniquets.
Okay. Karis, Mandikai got away, and she went with Zonan and Maeve.
I know. I don't know where she is, or if she's survived. But if she has, then the revel will live on.
And the kids, they're safe too.
Good.
Do you, in case like you're passed out when we get back to them, is there something you want me to tell Mandikai for you?
She already knows everything, I would say.
Ooh. Oh, sorry. I wouldn't. Keva wouldn't do that. Keva just kind of nods and...
Are you going to stay on the ship, or are you going with Zonan to check on the tunnel?
I think Keva would kind of be afraid to leave the ship at this point, but...
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Keva.
She would not want to leave Karis alone either.
Alright. Zonan,
Yes.
let's get you into those tunnels.
All right, where did Karis say there was a power supply?
Inside his bow, which is lying on the ground outside.
Okay.
Oh, before Zonan leaves, Keva shouts to him, "Go make sure the dogs are okay!"
You got it. Make my way to the bow on my way to the cave, the tunnel.
Okay.
So, I guess I look in there for this power supply.
Yeah, the bow is probably something to deal with later. You can probably just sling it over your back for now.
Oh, okay. So then I'll make my way into the tunnel to catch up with Bellcap and Anarchy.
Okay. You go into the bottom of the geode where there used to be that spring. You may recall when you first saw the spring, it looked as if the water were bubbling up from somewhere. And now the water is gone. It's just slightly damp. And there's stairs spiraling down at the bottom here. And that's where Bellcamp and Anarchy have headed. And as you follow them down, it goes down quite a ways. And Bellcamp is just sort of whistles and is like, "Man, I had no idea these were here." And Anarchy's like, "Yeah, me neither. If it weren't for Ted Lee, I don't think anyone would have known." And you get down to the bottom of the stairs, and there's Ted Lee. and Yarthalang and Algar, and they are loading people onto a series of long, thin, what look like boats, but they don't seem to have any way of steering. They're just long, thin boats with empty space that they're cramming people into. And Algar is not saying anything, obviously, but she is sort of helping to coordinate. Yarthalang and Thedley are coordinating and sort of shouting at people. There's a lot of noise that you couldn't hear from the surface down here. But you see several of the boats have sort of drifted off down this underground river and are sort of heading down a narrow tunnel that has water moving off in a direction that you think is probably south at this point, though you've been turned around a lot on the windy stairs. You're pretty sure it's south that these boats are moving off down.
What was the direction, sorry, that we came from?
You came from the west.
Okay, and the army is coming from the east.
North.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what you see.
Okay. Thedley looks like they're in charge here.
Apparently.
Okay, Thedley, what do we need? What are we doing?
We're like evacuating.
Okay, great. Where do these boats lead?
Well, I can't really tell you.
Well, why not?
It's like a secret.
I just took out an auditor for you. You can tell me where these boats are going. You can trust me.
You took out an auditor?
Yeah, ask Anarchy and Bellcamp. It was awesome.
He looks over at them and they sort of nod. He's like, whoa. And meanwhile, Bellcamp has seen Algar and Algar has seen Bellcamp, and Bellcamp starts to run towards her but then remembers his leg is broken, so he just sort of waits as she runs over and they embrace, and they're both sort of crying, and Bellcamp is saying sort of soft, quiet, calming things to Algar, who is sort of running her hands repeatedly over his face and hair and sort of clutching him to her again and again.
Oh, my other favorite couple.
That's sweet.
Anarchy's just sort of smirking, and she goes over to talk to Yartha and help load people onto the boats. And Thedley's like, well, it's like great that you did that, but like you're not really part of the revel, and like nobody knew about these tunnels except me anyway. Well, Mandukai, I guess Karis, because I had to get their help to start it. But anyway, like, I don't think my boss would be super thrilled if I was just telling you about, like, everything.
I get that, but your boss is currently being cared for by my companions, and I have Keva up in the ship who's looking after Karis right now. Like, whether or not you think it's official, like, we are in this together.
Oh, no, like I mean my boss, not that, like my boss.
I don't understand.
You know what? I probably shouldn't have said that anyway. So like you got a ship, you should probably like take that ship, unless you want to get on one of these boats.
Well, I mean, I'll take that ship, but wouldn't you like Karis and Mandukai to meet up with you eventually?
I'm sure they will. Like, they know where we'll be.
All right. Well, is there any way I can help right now?
Oh, sure. Yeah, like there's like a couple hundred people who still need to like. I guess we're down to like a little under 100 now. It's been pretty efficient. But like a couple of more people, like we could still got to load some of these boats and like need people to carry stuff,
All right, just to fit in with Thedley, I'm going to wear my 1990s style visor that I pull out of my bag. Very like surfer dude-esque.
He thinks it's very nice.
All right.
You get a little notification, at the bottom of the screen saying, Thedley approves.
All right, then I start helping people get on these boats.
Okay.
As his creator, I definitely approve, so therefore he should approve.
So you see, indeed, on one of the boats that's floating away down this underground river are the two dogs, Belly and Kel, along with one of the goats that was left behind.
Yes!
Oh yeah, there they are. They're awesome.
I'm not there, but would it occur to Zonan that he could maybe find a medical person to check on Karis and make sure that they don't bleed out anymore?
Yeah, that would be something I'm sure I would think of. I'll ask Dudley, like, as we're doing this, like, is anyone here a skilled medic? Garrison's in bad condition, and I just did some patchwork to help, but I don't know how long it'll last.
Okay, I guess so. And Deadly sort of gestures over to Yartha, and Yartha's like, yeah, what do you want now? He's like,
Karis.
Karis, this guy says that Karis is, like, in bad shape, so, like, could somebody go help? And Yartha's like, yeah, all right, fine. And she just grabs somebody from one of the crowds, seemingly without looking, and just sort of shoves them towards Zona's, like, go do your thing.
All right, I'll introduce myself to that person. Hi there, I'm Zonan Chan.
Oh, hi there. I'm Constance. And then they sort of like pause. They're like, okay, yeah. All right. I'm Constance Chan, whose stitches saved the lives of gods. Should we, Karis, you said?
Yeah, no, Karis is up in the ship. I feel like you're very aptly named for this. Please follow me.
Okay, well, just let me grab. And she grabs sort of a satchel as she's on her way by. My stuff. Let's go then.
Okay.
Yeah, you can, like, just as a reminder, you've got a lot of social skills that you could use. Like, if you had wanted to, you could probably have tried to trick Deadly or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely thought about it, but I think Karis's safety is a little more paramount.
Probably higher on your, just reminding you have that ability.
That's true.
All right, so you head back up to the ship with Constance Chan.
Okay. No relation?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, maybe. Do you recognize her?
No.
Okay. There are a lot of Chans in the world.
Yeah, never seen this woman before in my life.
Oh, relation.
Okay, so you mount up in the ship. Constance is there with you. Karis has passed out at this point.
Oh boy. Keva's like hovering over Karis, like kind of low key freaking out.
Yeah,
to know, are the dogs and everyone else okay?
Yeah, the dogs and even a goat. Yeah, everyone's okay. They're being taken care of through some secret means.
Taken care of?
They're on their way out of here. I'll find out more later. We got to get Karis looked at here. This is Constance.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, you're Keva, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to get to work. You do what you need to do.
Keva just kind of looks around, kind of like,
There's an army coming, in case you forgot.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I saw that. I just don't have anything to do while you're doing this, or...
Well, I gotta do this. And she opens up her satchel, and she seems to have given Karis sort of a once-over. Out of her satchel, she pulls a knife, which she sort of stabs at Karis. And for a hot second, it looks like she might be trying to, like, kill him, but actually she's just slashing off his robes.
Okay, I turn to Keva and say, Keva, are you able to leave on a moment's notice?
You mean, like, with the ship?
Yes.
Well, let me check. I guess, do I roll rapport for that?
You're still hooked. You didn't disconnect from the ship, so yes, you can leave anytime you want.
Oh, okay, yeah, we can leave anytime I want.
Okay, I'll be back soon. If I'm not back in, I don't know. Well, can you see the army actually coming?
For that, you'll need... Keva, you can sort of see a line on the horizon, but without using your skills, you wouldn't be able to see more than that there's a line approaching.
Yeah, I can see them approaching.
Okay, don't hesitate to leave if they get too close, but I'll be back as soon as I can.
No, we're not leaving without you.
I do not intend on being left without. I don't want you to be putting anyone in jeopardy. I will be safe. If I'm not back, I will be safe.
Look, Zonan...
No, there's no time. Just be ready to go. And I run out of the ship.
Okay, where are you going?
I'm going back down into the tunnels.
Okay.
I go to Thedley, and I say, hey, man.
Oh, hey.
Karis is being looked after, and he told me everything.
They told you everything?
Everything.
Oh, wow. You're probably going to have to roll your deceive on that.
Yup.
Do I even have? Yeah, there it is. That's a pretty good deceive roll you got there. That's what we would call
I would say so.
a fantastic deceive roll.
That was a 6 for those of you listening at home.
Okay. So Thedley does have a good empathy skill, but is not able to pierce your lies with his senses, and says, "Oh, okay, then, so are you gonna get on the boat, or do you want to go down to Exile's End?"
I gotta make sure that my friends are okay and that Mandukai's all right. We're gonna go back to where we know they are. Can you just tell me exactly how to get there so I can relay that to Keva so we can get there?
Ooh, I mean, it's one thing to know that's where we're going, but that's like top secret.
Buddy, Thedley, we've been through a lot, haven't we? Don't you think it's time you finally let me in and trust me? I'm gonna roll for rapport.
Okay. And you succeeded with style on your deceive, so you probably have a boost on him that he's impressed.
Oh, if he was impressed before, he's impressed now. I rolled a 6 for rapport.
You got another fantastic roll. And so Thedley's like, "Okay, man, but if this gets out, if the church finds out, I don't need to tell you. Exile's End is where it all happens, man. Where it all happens."
Yes, I understand what you mean by that, but I would love to hear you articulate exactly what that means out loud.
Well, I mean, it's the headquarters, and it's not just the XCOM, it's the other people too.
Yeah, you're right. That's a great way to put it, and I appreciate you saying that out loud.
You start seeing that there's stuff rattling, as if there were explosions going off upstairs, but not immediately upstairs, far away. But explosions of such force that you can feel them even here. You can see stones sort of rattling down. We're going to flash over back to the surface for just a second, because Keva, you see 5 mushroom clouds sprouting from 5 different locations.
Yep, those are not friendly mushrooms.
No. As we know, when a splinter hits the ground, the results are catastrophic, even when it was just 1 at a time, and now 5. So back underground, Thedley sort of unfolds a map from somewhere he was keeping it on his belt, and he hands it to you, and it's a fairly simple map, but it's got a number of different symbols on it, and it looks like there's some a little bit of crypto going on there, a little bit of decoding that you might have to do. And Thedley hands it to you and says, "Okay, you remember the passcode?" And he writes it down on the back. "And you also got to remember, you need the decoding, but Karis has got that, so it should be okay. I don't have an extra on me, and I need it to get in."
Okay, sounds good. I'll go with Karis then.
All right, can you do me a favor, though?
Hey, you're my best friend in the whole world, of course.
That's real nice. So, on your way up, you're gonna see a rope. If you can just take that rope, the end of it up to the top, and then just pull, but brace yourself.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks, man. You're a real pal.
All right. Is there everyone getting on the boats now? It's just wrapping up.
Yeah, it's the last couple of boats are getting ready. Algar is sort of helping Bellcamp onto a boat. Yartha's laughing about something with Anarchy. And Thedley sort of looks around and says, "Well, that's my ride."
All right. I nod my head to him and I run up the stairs. And halfway up, I turn around and point with one of my auditor gauntlets and say, "Hey, Thedley."
"Yeah?"
"You're great." And I run up the stairs.
He laughs. So you grab the rope and you see that it leads into some type of contraption in the wall. And as you bring it up, the sort of rope unspools from that contraption. And you get to the top, and what do you do?
I keep running and I keep holding onto the rope. I give it a yank as I run out the top.
Okay. There is an explosion behind you as the...
I don't look at it.
I should hope not, because you're going to have to keep running. As you can tell from that explosion that first the stairwell is collapsed, but it seems like this whole geode might collapse too.
No, not the gems.
All right. I run away as slowly as I can. to stay safe, but maximize the coolness.
It's very cool as you leap and do a combat roll just as the geode entrance collapses behind you. You escape up the top of the stairs with smoke billowing out around you.
Can Keva see that with the ship?
Yes, you can.
Awesome! Because it wouldn't be cool if someone else didn't see it.
Yeah. Now you can see on the horizon in the 5 different directions, there's a glow now, as if of large fires. So the sun has turned off, but you can still see a little bit from the glow of these raging fires wherever they are.
Yeah, Keva's like suddenly realizing, oh, this is what it's like for Emran.
I run back onto the ship and tell Keva to punch it, though I don't understand what that's a reference to.
But Keva like claps first when he gets on. Like, that was really cool.
Right? I'm 2 for 2 today.
Yep.
Also, I made a friend.
I'm not surprised. Well, I guess you two are coming with us. Sorry, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I figured, but Karis needs aid, so let's get going. This seems the safest place as any. Especially with that out there, she says, sort of gesturing with her head while still working with her hands. She's doing some stitching now.
Well, you guys will get to be with Mandakai, probably. So that's cool. I mean, you guys really like her. And after she says that, Keva kind of is like, oh, and maybe get near the restraints or something, because sometimes this is a little bit bumpy, and she kind of starts the ship, like, get it to go.
The ship responding to your controls, responding to your thoughts, really, lifts up into the sky. And where do you want to go?
Oh, wait, quick question. Does the barrier, like force field, manifest in a physical way?
What do you mean?
Like you were saying how like the energy goes out or whatever, and almost like a hand does this thing. But does it like, is it something visible to the naked eye?
Yeah, you can see it.
All right, you don't have to do this, Keva, but can you flip off the army?
I guess I could try.
Just be like, I'm really into cool exits right now.
Oh yeah, sure. I guess. And Keva's never really done this before. Not with her own hands, and definitely not with a ship force field hand. Does she have to roll? Do I have to roll for that?
No. The ship responds to your desires and makes a rude hand gesture with the glittering force field in the direction of the approaching army.
Oh, I did it. Yep.
Thank you.
And then we're zooming, and Keva immediately remembers, oh wait, we don't know how to find the hub.
You don't.
Okay, have we not figured out in game that the hub is the sun? Or is that just like my own fan speculation?
That's probably your own fan speculation.
Yeah.
Alright, but like, out of character here. I'm totally right, though, right?
I am not going to say anything because there is still so much to learn about this world. As you notice...
That's my... Oh, okay.
When suddenly there is a ping, Keva, on your control system.
Ooh. What does this ping mean?
You...
Is it like with Pong, like it hits my paddle?
No, it's just like something appears on your control map, and it is the symbol for hub.
Ooh. Do I have to click on it, or just say, well, Keva is like, yes, let us go there. I want to go to there.
The ship seems happy to go along with you because the ship needs to return to hub anyway. And you turn in that direction. You are now heading east as you fly towards that beacon.
Ooh. Zonan, the ship got a ping. Not a pong, a ping.
I'm assuming that's a good thing, and I am pleased.
Yeah, it told us where hub is. We're going towards that direction.
Perfect. Let's catch up with Emran and Maeve. I can't wait to tell them how cool it was. I took out an auditor.
And I broke the sun.
Yeah, okay. It's not about one-upping one another, Keva. But, I mean, yes, that was also awesome.
I mean, after I've had so many problems with this ship, I'm just really, really happy. I mean, people are going to have to start working at night.
People are going to have to start figuring out how to grow food without a sun.
Ooh. Oh.
There's no problem unsolvable. I'm sure we can figure out a way to kickstart the sun again.
All right. As your ship flies off in the direction of the hub, over the quiet, dark desert, these thoughts roll around in your mind about what it means now that the sun is dark. And when we return next session, hopefully we'll have a reunion.
Yay! You'll be very tearful, I'm sure.
Indeed. So until then, all the best.
Yay! We did it!
Back in the mall, Captain Ashra Singh looked down the elevator shaft. She saw her scouts at the bottom and called out, "You see anything down there?" They called back up, "No, they disappeared. They disappeared." Captain Singh frowned, looking down at her feet, where they had crushed yet another one of the bugs. There was a stain on the ground. Crouching down, she ran her fingers over it. It was dry. What had those insects been doing? Sighing in frustration, she stood and turned, then stepped back in sudden shock. What? You! The man standing behind her pushed back his hood and smiled, putting a hand on her shoulder. He didn't say anything, but instead walked towards the shaft, peering down. Behind him, a massive ram came down through the bore. Clip, clop. Clip, clop. The hooded man grabbed the elevator cable and leapt down the shaft, reaching the bottom in moments. He rolled, coming to a knee just beside the remains of the bloody puddle. Oh, so gently, he touched his fingers to the tacky stain, held it to his lips, held it to his nose. A minute later, the huge ram sat down beside him, and he held his finger to its nose as well. It snorted, shaking its head. He nodded, took a pouch from his belt, and scraped the tacky remains into it. The Seeker tucked the pouch back into his belt and turned to leave.